Live from Rialto, California, Mark and Andre present The Mark and Andre Show, where we talk conspiracies, current events, and film. Tonight's topic, Terminator 2, 25 years later, and still no Judgment Day? Here are your hosts, Mark and Andre. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Mark and Andre Show. I'm your host, Mark Flores, and with me is my co-host, Andre Gaynor. Andre? Oh, you want to do a little fist bump? Yeah, okay, that's cool. Switch it up, huh?
I want them, they want to see something different. So
yeah, these guys want to see something different on a podcast. I very much agree with you on that. Tonight's topic, so we have a brief discussion on Sylvester Stallone. We're going to talk about Terminator 2, the 25th anniversary, a couple conspiracies along the way for the end, and then we're also going to be talking about the Nintendo Entertainment System. Mm-hmm. A very action-packed show, I'd say. Very much so. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Tired as usual, but I'm ready.
Yeah? Well, let's attack these topics first. But more first than that,
prior to first.
Yeah, exactly. Prior to the first, let's get the commercials out of the way. Tonight's Mark and Andre podcast show is brought to you by Game Swappers. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade your retro games and next-gen consoles. That's PS4 and Xbox One. You can come into contact with Game Swappers via Instagram at GAMESWAPPERS. That's GAMESWAPPERS. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade. Keep in mind, guys, that if you do share any iteration of the Mark and Andre podcast, the Retro Collecting 101 podcast, or the Pay-Per-Review Wrestling podcast, you'll be able to get 10% off towards your game purchases at Game Swappers. Or if you're in the interest of selling your retro consoles and next-gen consoles as well, you can use that discount to get 10% more towards your trade-ins. Very beneficial for you, for me and the show, and for Game Swappers to get business as well. And then Game Swappers also is going to have the Barcade Night on Saturday the 16th. It's going to be 18 and over. You'll be able to have happy hour drink specials all night long for 21 over. Yeah. And they're also going to have 20-plus competitive base games all over several televisions that are quite huge. They have a couple of 70-inch televisions that they're going to be projecting out of. So, yes. $10 admission gets you unlimited play all day, all night.
No limits.
Yeah, at the Finish Line Sports Grill located in Pomona, California. For more information, please go to Instagram's Game Swapper. Yeah, I know. And go to Instagram's. Instagram actually has an Instagram page.
Which is ridiculous.
I know.
It's just pictures of the app itself. That's another
Game Swapper's Instagram page for more details. Now that the commercial's out of the way, how about we hit it up with a little Sly Stone?
Oh, let's do it.
Sylvester Stallone, a couple days ago, turned 70 years old, and I only found this out because I follow Arnold Schwarzenegger on Snapchat.
Like close buddies. It's not like a random follow. Like they're best friends. They snap every day, all the time.
I want to wish Sylvester Stallone a happy birthday. It's impressive to see him still doing action flicks like The Expendables at 70 years old.
I didn't know he was that old, to be honest. And I never even considered him to be even 60 years old. There's this weird part of my mind where I was just like not applying an age to him.
Yeah, 20 years ago he was 50 years old. So then that leads you to believe that he was in his late 40s when he was doing Demolition Man.
Yes.
So in 1976, he was, he was actually in his 20s. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yes. This dude's been around.
This dude's been around big time.
And for him to maintain his physique the way he has and just, overall being able to continue working, geez, at 70... him and Morgan Freeman are like some of the oldest dudes in the game.
You know what the funny thing is probably him and Morgan Freeman are probably around the same age. Jesus. Yet this guy's all yoked up.
Jesus,
I wonder what kind of supplements he's using to enhance his performance.
Just violence.
Violence and vitamins.
Violence,
vitamins
into vitamins. There we go.
It's just all testosterone. I've always, his movies, like Rocky, the whole Rocky saga, I've always watched as a little kid, and I was amazed by the whole story about it. But then knowing that Sylvester Stallone actually took his acting game to another level with like Daylight, the mountain climbing movie.
What?
Not the mountain climbing movie. That's Cliffhanger.
That was like a Cliffhanger.
No, Daylight, the one where he kind of still climbs, but he's inside the Jersey Turnpike. Daylight?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Okay, so the Jersey Turnpike gets clogged both sides. And it's the big tunnel that takes you from under Jersey to New York, right?
What?
And that whole thing's blocked. So it's up to Stallone, because there's gas seeping into the whole turnpike, where he has to take all the people out.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
When movies were creative enough to come up with a concept.
Daylight is a crazy movie. You don't. Oh, so what movies? What movies impacted you that Sylvester Stallone actually?
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. It just. I don't know. As a young kid, their depiction of the future was so interesting to me.
Yeah, it was.
And it just the overall conflict lasting for centuries.
Yeah.
It's still fresh when he's unfrozen. Like, that son of a bitch! And he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's an all-out action flick. Like, it's an all-out action flick that has great tone and atmosphere. I don't think it's anything great acting-wise. You're not seeing him push himself as a character.
Definitely not.
But I was a fan of Sylvester Stallone because he was just great in action films. Yeah. He's always been great in action films.
That actually put Wesley Snipes into the forefront for a long time, because after that he had a couple of he had Passenger 57, he had The Fan with him and De Niro.
Passenger 58.
Passenger 57 2, Passenger 58.
The search for Passenger 57.
So it actually helped Wesley Snipes along the way too.
Right.
I thought the movie was very entertaining.
That's all it is. I don't think there's any depth to the film. Mm-hmm. You know, I am all about depth in films, but I always viewed Sylvester's films as just kind of, I knew him for all the schlocky, crazy action stuff. Yeah. Like, I didn't see Rocky 1. I've seen it, but I mean, like, when I was younger, I saw Rocky 4.
So you saw the campiness. You saw the most campiness of all the Rocky movies.
These 500-ton punches.
Oh yeah,
that should knock a man out.
Apollo Creed dies, and then Sylvester Stallone has this. I mean, Rocky Balboa has this crazy idea to fight Ivan Drago on Christmas in Russia.
Yes,
dude,
it's lunacy.
Yeah, he also turns into unconventional methods and works out in a barnyard.
And with giant logs and all this, while this dude's getting injected with like science and he's being examined and dissected.
Technology injected steroids.
They're using all this robotronics.
Oh yeah, the robot arm.
Using a Bowflex and all that before its time. But it was like, that's the Stallone I saw. So, and then, it wasn't, I didn't see First Blood originally. I saw Rambo. So as I grew older, I started to go backwards, and I went, "Oh my God, he has depth as a character. Like, he can actually act and write and direct." So I really loved him in First Blood. Yeah, First Blood definitely had an impact on me later. Yeah, I wish I could have watched it at my age, when I was younger. He
fully grasped that Oscar that he got for Rocky, just because he actually wrote the story,
right? And just the feel, like, he got New York, he got that feel.
No, Philly. It was Philly.
Sorry, Philly. Excuse me. He had the feel of just being an inner city fuck up.
Yes, exactly. This guy who's not even a mid-card fighter. He was fighting out of a church. Yes. And there's just so many instances where that this guy's literally from the hood. Yes. He barters a guy at the skating rink. Hey, I just want to take this girl out for a skate, Hey, it's Thanksgiving, man. Everything's closed. Like, hey, he's like, okay, 5 minutes you got. They gave him like $10. He had like 5 minutes out for a skate. And then the other instance where he goes to get a blessing from the Padre. Yes. Hey, yo, Father Lenny, hey, open the battery, hey, I was just speaking. It's funny because he was speaking Italian the whole time. Right. And then Stallone was speaking regular English. So, hey, Father, I just wish I could get a blessing, Hey. It's the Stallone, the Travolta, the Nicolas Cage. You're all good.
But it was a rags to riches story.
Yeah, definite. And what I get from those two little skits I did, I mean, it's like there's so much authenticity from the character itself as Rocky. This guy, real. Yes, exactly.
Feels
and
real.
when that does happen, you can actually grasp the character itself.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm not going to speak negative on his career. He's done so much good.
Yeah,
I loved The Expendables 1
Yes.
and 2.
Yeah, the first two Expendables.
The original Expendables.
Yeah, those are the only two I actually saw in theaters. As soon as I saw that Mel Gibson and Harrison Ford were in the next one, I was like, okay,
we're going too far.
Yeah, as much as I enjoy Harrison Ford and Mel Gibson, I was just like, well, there's just too much. There's a lot going on now.
Antonio Banderas too, right?
Antonio Banderas as well.
And I was just like, Antonio Banderas did Desperado, the mariachi.
Yeah.
What else?
As far as action movies?
Yeah.
He's done X vs. Sever. He's done a movie with Stallone that I was going to recommend later, but he did Assassins with Stallone. And if you haven't seen Assassins, that's the one
later or sooner?
It was after Demolition Man.
Oh,
so
what?
Stallone's character plays an assassin who begins a part of the movie by assassinating another assassin, and he becomes the top guy. Now there's another guy trying to dethrone him. It was just nothing. Everyone just trying to top each other.
Yes.
Banderas plays the young up and coming Latino firecracker. It's like this guy. He was Miguel Bain is Antonio Banderas' character, and Robert Rath
perfect set.
Yes,
all right.
Robert Rath is Sylvester Stallone's character.
That's so dumb.
It was a good movie.
Show me that,
minus that Julianne Moore thing. I don't know what Hollywood had with Julianne Moore, but hey, it was a thing. Anyway, exactly.
Trends.
Yes. So there's a few underrated flicks that Sylvester Stallone actually did. And what a lot of people don't understand is that Sylvester Stallone, he has a filmography a mile long.
Yes.
This guy was in a lot of movies.
Yes, he was.
Even tried to do the comic book adaptation of Judge Dredd, but
Judge Dredd was fun.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah,
but
just fun. What a lot of people don't see is that this guy actually can act. He just has a deficiency from his, left or right side where he can't fully enunciate from that side.
That's an
afterthought,
right? Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not distracting,
Definitely not.
It's not something that hinders the performance, ever. I think just with Rocky, it's almost perfect.
Yeah. You kind of felt that, like, oh, that's how Rocky talks. And then when you actually meet Sly, you're probably like, oh, wow, that is not...
Is he still in character?
Yeah, no, exactly. We're at the Demolition Man premiere, and he's still talking like Rocky Balboa.
He's really dedicated to this role. Did you manage to see Creed at all?
Yeah, I did, and his role as the Mick 2.0 was pretty impressive. It's amazing to see that he's able to actually know that his time's up for doing these Rocky movies,
right? And passing
the torch finally. He shouldn't have even done Rocky Balboa, but it was a good treat. That's it. That's all it was. It was a good treat to see. Jesus. So a few underrated flicks from Sly. We have Cobra, which I've told you about. We watched the first couple 10 minutes of it.
And that just looks awesome.
Picture the law enforcement version of Commando.
Yes. Exactly that.
Yes.
Great example. He's just this hard-boiled cop that doesn't give a fuck.
Yes, with the match in his mouth.
Right. Very just... It's not cliche, but it's just ridiculous. 80s cliche, I guess. Because it's just... What the hell? No person is like this.
Yes, exactly. During the beginning scene where he's trying to negotiate with an actual terrorist inside a grocery store.
Right.
He ends up just picking a warm beer off of the stands, like a quarter. I think it was a quarter Miller Lite. Just pops open, takes a little swig, and then during the gunfight, he gets to the PA and says, like, "You're a bad shot. I hate bad shots." Like, damn, like this guy doesn't.
He prefers to get shot.
Yes, exactly.
He prefers to be shot correctly.
Sylvester Stallone, the Cobra's one of the underrated flicks. Cliffhanger. A lot of people give them don't look at that movie as like an actual action movie, but it is. It's not just this mountain climbing spectacle. It's still shocking to see that this guy is able to climb mountains dressed like he's going to go work out at the gym.
Right.
I was like, where's your fucking jacket?
You're not freezing up here, man?
He's in like short shorts.
Short shorts. Like those like borderline gay looking shorts.
Yes, exactly.
All the way up mid-thigh. And he's like sweating.
Catch the director's cut of Cliffhanger. What else is going to hang out of those shorts?
And when it came to, because I just remember the particular scene where, you know, his girl ends up falling or something.
Oh, yeah.
That, you know.
That's exact dialogue from the movie, too. Stallone had to go,
subtitles are ER. Like, you just got to read it.
Exactly.
And it was, I just remember that scene in particular.
Yeah.
And realizing, like, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not going climbing ever.
Right.
I've even told people, like, hey, man, I've seen Cliffhanger, man. I'm not going to...
It's cool. You can do that, man.
First thing, I'm climbing. Next, the terrorist is going to take over a mountain and blow it up. Not my thing, dude.
And yeah, he just happens to be there when these bad guys want to... Oh, God. That whole typical... That was very reminiscent of its time. It's just like... person in unlikely situation...
Doing an extraordinary
unlikely group of criminals doing unlikely crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever robbed a mountain before. That's some dumb shit like that.
Oh, yeah, no. So what happened is that they were actually seizing a transfer from a different mint to another mint.
Location.
Oh, yeah, like, exactly. On a mountain. Yeah, you're right.
Like, okay, this is a great idea for this group of guys to do something. But I always felt like films did stupid shit like that. It's like, oh, well, how else can we create some kind of weird conflict with the bad guys?
Let's put them on a mountain.
Let's put them on a mountain and make them kill people. Oh, let's make them take over an island, and no one can get on the island. Like, anything that they can find, especially during this period of time.
Definitely so.
And when it came to just this period, like, you know,
yeah.
I feel like it was what, you know, the showrunners, which was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly, and
Steven Seagal, Van Damme.
Even though Steven Seagal, I don't understand
we don't,
appeal.
Yeah, we've mentioned this plenty of times on this podcast, but we don't really count Steven Seagal as this. Yeah, I don't know, man. Steven Seagal looked like, and I don't like watching a few of his movies, but it's just he got it. You know, he got it good, man. Like he had a good.
Just got lucky. Because he's not visually impressive.
Yeah. No, would you rather see Steven Seagal in a movie, or would you rather see Jean-Claude Van Damme give someone a bicycle kick?
Jean.
Exactly. Schwarzenegger, because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Steven Seagal?
Steven Seagal.
Would you rather see Sly Stallone, or would you rather see Steven Seagal? You're like, what? Wait, what'd you say? to the audience, you know, to the speaker audience that we have, and I hate myself for not acknowledging guys more often. It feels like I'm just talking to Andre for half an hour actually an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
But what if you guys can provide comments wherever you can? Let me know your input on whatever action heroes you guys enjoy, whether it be the new guys, whether it's Tony Jaa, the new Jackie Chan that you were talking to me about earlier,
right?
Or did you like the ones from the 2000s, your Jason Statham, Scott Adkins, Michael Jai White, or even before that, in the 90s, Michael Jai White,
okay.
Sylvester Stallone? Like, what era did you most appreciate, or what star did you most appreciate? Just let me know in whatever form of social media you can find us on. We'll be able to have a healthy discussion off of that. But Sylvester Stallone, 70 years old, still buff. Like, it's just, this guy's still yoked up. He wants to do a Rocky movie on the inside, but then he just settled for Grudge Match with De Niro. Yeah. With Kevin Hart in there as a comedic relief.
Grudge Match was like the alternate dimension of Rocky. Like, yeah. Oh, man. But no, I respect Sly, and I think he's leaning towards more directing, right? He's still doing directing.
Yeah.
So I think, he'll end his career as a director.
You know his mom's still alive?
How?
I don't know, dude. But she, I guess, I was listening to Coast to Coast a couple nights ago, and it actually, they actually told us on the radio show that Sylvester Stallone's mom is like a psychic medium. Mm-hmm. Dude, that's crazy. But she's still alive. That's more impressive than that. She's like 90 years old. It's crazy.
Preserving her own life with her power.
It's impressive.
That's crazy.
Sly, if you're listening, wish you a happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Sly, you're our guy.
Oh, man. Speaking of action heroes, I saw on Dwayne Johnson's Instagram, he actually made another mention that he might run for president. He takes a photo with two other guys in the photo. He's all like, in this photo, you see a bald-headed guy that might run for president one day. You have this other guy, which, and by the process of elimination, you know who he's mentioning as that guy. And wow, I think this is kind of leaning towards the way of, if he becomes president, but when.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to go back to the same shtick, but yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What is happening? What is that? I don't understand.
Andre, you yourself play video games. I myself do play video games. I actually was playing Castlevania not too long ago, and I got pretty far, but it's just, that game's a hell of a game.
What, Castlevania?
Yeah, Castlevania.
Yeah. Which one in particular?
The first one.
The first one?
Yeah, I was playing the first one a couple nights ago, and you get to a point where you're like, man, do I really keep going? And then if I have to start over, I have to start again.
Is it worth?
Castlevania is one of those games where you're just like, damn, like, I love playing this game. The video game business was saved due to the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Right.
As you know, Atari was coming out with several unlicensed games and just flooding the market with shitty games.
Yes.
To the point, almost to the extent where a lot of people didn't want to play video games anymore.
Right.
The Nintendo comes in right at the time of 1985 and sweeps the nation by storm.
By humongous. Unrelentless. Just like, I can't believe how hard it hit the market. What did it do differently to cause this massive explosion?
Before we get into that and those other trail of questions, I was going to let the audience know, is like, what were the most impactful times we saw the Nintendo Entertainment System in film? More importantly, the first one I want to mention was the longest commercial for a Nintendo ever. It was The Wizard.
Oh my!
The Wizard movie,
the film-long commercial.
Yes, exactly.
The Wizard.
The Wizard. Man, I remember finding it at a video rental store, and I was like, "Mom, you have to rent this for me." And I said it in that voice. My voice has always been this way.
It's always been that
the whole time. And I ended up she ended up renting it for me, and the cover shows Fred Savage, but then you see a bunch of Nintendo characters in the background, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's actually going to be playing video games the majority of the time. Wow, was I wrong? I'm wrong a lot. I'm wrong a lot, but wow, this is like one of those moments like, well, I'm very, very wrong.
It was the film equivalent of clickbait.
Exactly.
It was like, where the fuck are the video games?
Yes.
And then there were times where, like, the little kid was like, I want to play video games. It's like, no, we have to go on an adventure. And it's like, no, I'm going to watch them fucking play video games.
There's only a few times where they actually play video games in this. The grand reveal is actually at the end of the third act, towards the conclusion, where they actually end up playing Super Mario Brothers 3.
Never seen before.
Yeah, never seen before. This is the actual film sneak peek debut to see Super Mario Brothers 3. But yet they knew how to traverse the whole...
Yeah, like, killed it.
Yeah. This is the first time they're going to play Super Mario Brothers 3, yet these guys are beating it in an amount of time, which is crazy.
And that rivals how we could have beaten the game.
Yeah, playing Super Mario Brothers 3, it's hard to get through those maps. Like, platforming, with me, I especially don't have patience. This is one of the few times where I have to mention that. It's like, with me in platforming games, like, with Castlevania and with Ninja Gaiden, it's hard for me because I lack that patience.
Just want to get to the end.
Yes.
Finish it and plow through everything in your path.
So these guys finish it all quick. Like, they do the same thing I do, but not die.
But they're trying to make it seem like this young kid is like this super video game genius.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. But no, fuck that.
Yes,
that's some
exactly.
bullshit. That was stupid as hell. I just recall, like, the kid, he, like, zoned out and, like, just was staring blankly at the screen and, like, mastered the game instantly. Didn't, what's his name, try to play it with the Power Glove?
Oh, yeah,
like
Lucas.
Oh, I love this thing.
The dude Lucas, he's all, I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
The
And he's all sweating.
This movie itself, when I was watching it, I was like, man, this movie's cool. This movie's all right. This movie's not cool, like, at all. There's a story to it, but watching movies back in the day, you don't really remember. You just, they're entertaining, So I just remember all the times that they were actually playing the video games, and what I was more shocked of it was the actual inaccuracies.
Right.
Where they're able to fire up a NES cartridge really quick.
Yes.
They didn't blow on it. No one blew on anything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, let me play a game real quick.
Bullshit.
Christian Slater was in it as well. And a brief cameo by Elijah Wood. Like, he plays one of Lucas's boys.
Right.
His cronies.
One of his little bitches.
Yeah.
But they were at Universal Studios at one point too.
Yeah.
And they give it's a commercial not only for video games, but it was a quick commercial for Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And California.
Yeah.
And California.
Because that kid, like, plugged California like mad times. And it's funny to realize, too, is, like, states do need advertising. Yeah. Like, states, at their core, are a business.
They are. They're a giant... They have, there's so much depth to how a state is run.
Yeah, but
they went as far as to go, we're not only going to advertise our state, we're going to advertise... Hollywood, yes. And we're going to advertise Universal Studios.
And those Cabazon dinosaurs. Have you ever been over there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, dude, I've been there. I was there after they did the wizard thing. I was like, oh, what? This kid was there? What?
But what
California.
It's just, it's not...
Andre, California. If you guys have seen The Wizard, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Little bastard, he only had one thing to
all
say.
All bitching about California all day.
And then he finally gets there and he's just like, we're here. I want to play video games now.
So the kid, the Wizard was one of the grand deceptions that people tell you about. This movie had 5 to 10% of Nintendo footage.
Right.
Versus the regular 95% of actual theater, typical storylines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It honestly was... I mean, okay, if you remove the aspect of video games and all that crap, the film is a very decent film. It's very decent. It's so decent. It's a really decent film. It's just decent. There's nothing more. That adventure is whatever. There's no stakes here. There's no incredible... there's no risk.
Yeah, no one's in that much danger. It's just some guy trying to... It's a child recoverer going against their parent, the father.
Right.
Like, with that, thinking about that, I was like, well, doesn't the father supersede the guy looking for his own, that guy's kid?
Yes.
I was like...
there's a plethora of loopholes. You can tell they made this film on a whim, and the entire intention of the film was to be a commercial.
Yeah.
And the story was a byproduct of the commercial, but I did not like that they really marketed well to kids.
Oh, definitely. I got sucked in.
Yeah, and I got sucked in too, same way. It was just like, oh, look, video games. I'm this fucking video game playing kid. Of course I'm going to see a movie. I'm expecting a bunch of video games. Nothing. The
other movie that I had... Super Mario Brothers 3 made one small cameo, and I don't know if you caught it, but it made a small cameo in Three Ninjas. Do you remember? Remember when it's Tum Tum, Rocky, and Colt? They end up like they were supposed to go to bed, but they were playing video games.
Yeah, they were playing
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and after that, I was gonna ask you: that was a brief instance where I actually saw video games being played.
Right.
But where else have we seen because I remember they played Super Mario Brothers 3 and Cool as Ice, but we only heard the audio.
Yeah. Well, no, fuck that. The audio was like all misplaced.
Yeah,
though.
They were in different levels at the same time.
Like somebody had like a sound set and they were just hitting random sounds because it was like
the buttons.
The coin and the jump sound are complete. Like they're doing everything wrong. Like boing, 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 clink, 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 all completely out of order. Every depiction of video games that I saw in film was usually the highest inaccurate. Like they're holding a Sega controller, right?
Yeah,
and you're hearing sounds that belong on a Nintendo.
Yes,
or like they're holding a Game Boy. This is prevalent in a lot of Jackie Chan films.
Yeah,
like they're holding a Game Boy. There's no game in it.
Oh yes,
and they're pressing the buttons, but I can see the cartridge is not in there.
Or they're holding a wireless like PlayStation 3 controller and the power's not on.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that I saw in some different YouTube videos or like skits and stuff, where it needs there's a need for a lot of accuracy because that's one of those simple things we can nitpick at, but it's still obvious to see.
It depends on the message of the film. Sometimes they don't care. Like the whole point is the kid is a little bastard that plays video games all the time. But being a gamer, I'm like, no, I want to hear you playing this shit accurately.
Yes.
Because he'll be, I'm playing Sonic, bling. That's the fucking jump sound to Mario.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? So just as a just a little nerd shit, but. When it came to like the Wizard, I was anticipating like this full film of just nonstop video
action packed. And one thing to mention too is that I remember that they were playing arcade cabinets with RC Pro-Am with Nintendo games. And I was thinking, I was like, wait, when have I ever seen that?
Never.
Ever.
That's only for the film.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I've never in my life have I played only on the Nintendo Play Choice 10. Are you able to play arcade versions of the Nintendo games? Mm-hmm. But other than that, no.
No. And
he went to different cabinets.
But no, all that was bullshit. The whole movie
it was
bullshit. The fact of the matter, like, when there's so many things that they got away with that was not supposed to be total inaccuracies.
Yeah, they were getting points. One thing, too, to mention, they were... Oh, no, you know what? Scratch that, because remember at the end where it's Lucas, the kid, and then some other chick... Mm-hmm. And they're like they're tallying points all quick. Mm-hmm. I just realized I was going to say that they were acquiring so many points that I've never seen in a Mario game, but those are the points dedicated to the contest.
Yes,
yeah, which was still quick. It might have been based on distance, but
none of it made sense.
Yeah,
the way that they tallied the time and all, it was dumb. All of that was just stupid as hell. Nick Arcade had better, game representation.
That I can definitely attest to. I've seen way too many.
As adults, we just realized, hey, man, it was a fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to see that now to where we actually know that they try to play us. Well, actually, we got played. We got.
They got their money. They got their money. So, and it's funny that they never attempted another video or movie like this.
The Wizard 2. Get ready this summer. Lawrence Fishburne.
New York. He wants to go to a new place.
Little kid, Lawrence Fishburne wants to go to New York. No, Jaden Smith.
Oh my god.
Will Smith. The Wizard 2, directed by John Woo.
No, what?
It's all not John Woo. Like I could just imagine the moment he never has to do an action movie. He's like, wait, I'm just doing a romance. Can I have a couple of guns in this?
Can guns be
or
in
like,
the background?
Or like asking Christopher Nolan, like there's no devious psychological ploy. there's nothing deep. We're just doing a movie about a guy who runs a hot dog stand.
But
what's the deeper issue? What's the message behind
this? What's the subcontext?
No, Christopher, down, Christopher.
You can't boggle him down into one little idea. That dude, he wants to change the world through his films. Anyway, I'm surprised we haven't talked about Christopher Nolan in quite a while. We got to do like a run on Christopher Nolan one day.
No, we will. It's just I enjoy mentioning him from time to time. It's kind of like peppering him in every podcast versus like dousing everyone with Christopher Nolan thon. Anyway, so it's like this: the games that are still enjoyable to play. Mm-hmm. And just let me know if you're not familiar with any of these games. I'll just shoot a couple at you. Castlevania.
I'm not familiar with that one. Tell me
Castlevania.
More about it.
Okay. Myself playing Castlevania, I remember playing it when I was little and enjoying the fact that, wow, I can potentially fight Dracula in this.
Dracula? I'm not familiar with that game.
Dracula himself, huh?
What's the Dracula game?
What's the Dracula game? Shut your mouth. Castlevania you can just picture the Universal Monster movies all lodged into one game. Mm-hmm. Konami had a great run with the NES. Mm-hmm. And I definitely enjoyed the platforming in Castlevania. Castlevania is still enjoyable to play.
Oh, yeah. It's a bitch. It's hard.
It's very difficult. I'll definitely attest to that. There's 18 stages. I only got to stage 12. And these stages are positioned in boards. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you'll play board 1, 2, and 3 of level 1, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But still notoriously difficult.
Oh, yeah. I think I made it to about level 5.
Yeah.
And it was just relentless. I'm like, I just...
The only instance where I beat it was actually with save states and ROMs.
Oh, see,
that was the only reason. Yeah,
cheater.
But I was able to see the end and defeat Dracula, and never see it again until I faced him in Super Castlevania 4 for the SNES,
which was phenomenal.
That game was incredible.
Way better than the original. Do you believe? Or just?
Oh yeah, miles ahead. But graphical upgrade, but you're able to whip in several different directions,
and it reduces the difficulty, right?
Yes,
quite a bit.
It does. It's a reboot of the first game, and it's a great reboot, in my opinion.
I wish if they could just
great
bring
graphics
it back.
too.
Yeah, why won't they just bring it back with that style?
Well, that's the thing, Andre, is that you're, and to the audience too, is that all these games cannot sacrifice 3D environments.
Well, use 2.5D and go for 3D environment and just have it on a 2D plane.
Well, you could, but why not pay homage to the whole regular 2D platforming? And just amp up the graphics to, with you limiting your graphics to not a 3D world, but a 2-dimensional platformer, you're able to take your graphics up to a whole nother level just because you're not using them for anything else.
Right.
The thing that sucks about it is that we're used to 3D platformings now, like 3D,
I think so.
3D 3D immersive worlds.
Well, as an indie game player, loving the indie scene, they are all making games that are representative of former games. And they sell exceptionally well. They do great, and they're some of the best games I've played. So I feel like if they take the 2.5D formula, which is a full 3D world, but on the exact same plane...
It's still on rails, essentially.
No, it's the same thing. It's just Castlevania in 3D.
Yeah.
It just scrolls,
It's kind of like a globe.
Yeah.
It's like a globe to where you're in the middle part, you're in the most center part of the globe, but the globe still rotates around, leaving you to see the front and see the back behind. I mean, like Pandemonium did that.
No, not that way. I'm talking about...
a different 2.5D then.
No, yeah, 2.5D is going to be on the X plane. So
okay.
You'll be seeing it exactly the same way as you saw Castlevania. It's just going to be 3D. All the models will be 3D, all the backgrounds will be 3D, but you'll only get the 2D plane. So you'll see it just like you did in original Castlevania.
Okay.
And it'll look great. Let's see, who tried that? Bionic Commando, they did it.
Yeah.
They did the reboot for Bionic Commando. They kept everything exactly the same, except they made all the models and everything 3D. And it did really well. And I don't see why they just don't take that risk and go for putting Castlevania in that format. It works well.
Yeah.
I don't see, they should just try it. But they're not going to take that risk. The last Castlevania game to exist was a 100% ripoff of God of War.
Oh, the Legacy, not Legacy of, I forget, it was like,
Legacy
they have all these like,
something.
They have all these gothic names like the Vanity of Tomorrow's Past, or like, I'm like, fuck. I remember, not Legacy of Darkness, that's a different game. But they have like very morbid games, like
the Death of Darkness, Tomorrow's No Coming. Like
the No Limit Soldier Returns. Just some... I think it's just like, because I know Legacy of Darkness is one of their Castlevania games, but yeah, it's going to like a hack and slash, Devil May Cry, because they have to answer to that now.
They do, but if they just take that risk and try it out, because I would enjoy it. The indie scene is doing it, and they're doing it well.
But that's a niche audience. The independent scene goes for those games,
right? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just you got to find a middle ground to reach the majority of the audience, plus get a couple guys that are delving back into the indie scene onto these games as well, which I hope for, because Castlevania, the game's awesome. It's extremely fun. It's fun, difficult. It's a game I recommend to play, and it's unfortunate. I remember paying I think like $10 for it now, but now it's like a $25 game, and at Game Swappers they can't keep it on the shelf.
Dang,
it's hard. It's been one of the very few times I've seen Castlevania on the display.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's a damn good game. That's a title rightfully had for Castlevania, because it's a damn good game.
I wish I could have played it when I was younger. I only played it when I got older.
Tyson's Punch-Out. Yes. Mike Tyson, I think this game came out in 87, 88. my birth year. It's my birthday on Sunday, by the way. We have a birthday party. You're invited.
Oh yeah.
Not you guys at the studio audience. Sorry. That's all fucked up. You guys can't come. Anyway, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Mike Tyson, peak of his career, 1988, 1987. Talking, he actually ended up winning the World Heavyweight Championship around those 2 years. I forget which day in particular. So heavyweight champion of the world, the first one to hold all 3 titles, the WBA, WBC, and IBO. The guy. This guy made history. Young cat, the youngest to do it, too. Mick comes with a game that is hard as shit. Especially when you go up to Mike. I can get to Mike. That's no problem.
And then get your ass whooped.
The thunder uppercuts,
and
man.
That's it.
Dun, 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 dun. Like, you end up losing quick, man. Mike don't play.
It's like they designed the game for him to be that unfair.
Which in real life he was.
Yeah, he's annihilating anyone in his path. And then of course, dealing with rape scandals.
Well, yeah, that's where it didn't garner. They came out with I don't know if it's on my shelf, but they came out with Power Punch 2, which didn't have a Power Punch 1. So Nintendo gives the rights to a different developer to come out with, hey, you guys can make Power Punch 2. Well, where's Power Punch 1? Just take it and leave. Basically drive away. It was supposed to be the sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Oh, that
But
sucks.
due to the whole scandal that he had with Miss Indiana in Indiana, he ended up serving prison 3 years. Still ended up coming back to win the I think it was the WBA title. But yeah, long story short, this game was extremely difficult.
Oh, it was.
And rightfully so, just because this guy was awesome at the time. A lot of homages to Rocky, but placed in a setting where it's kind of like actually New York.
Yeah, and it's cutesy and it's kind of cartoonish.
Yeah, all your opponents are very, very animated. They have a gimmick. They're like wrestlers.
Yeah, they are, exactly.
You have Piston Honda, who has
kind of a stereotypical imagery of wherever they hailed from. You know?
The Japanese guy had a headband on the whole time. Some guy that came from, I don't know, like some island, King Hippo.
Oh,
King
man.
Hippo, like, oh yeah, just hit him in the gut. You pull his pants, you'll take his pants down. He has to pick his pants up. You just keep hitting him in the gut. Oh man, and what it would have been more impressive would be to see Mike Tyson in Super Punch-Out. Imagine Super Punch-Out with Mike Tyson at the end of it. It's a 16-bit version of Mike Tyson.
That would have been so cool.
At the time that Super Punch-Out came out, Mike Tyson would have still been on top of the world, minus out the whole rape, scandal.
The whole rape? You make it sound so subtle and small.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just...
the whole rape.
It's just something that, that just unfortunately happened to Mike. It's like one of those. It's
you know how it goes.
And it's not even. It's something that actually happened to the victim. But there's a lot of. I don't want to get into it because there's a lot of. It's a two-sided coin with that. But
but it was it damaged.
It's
an
unfortunate incident for both parties.
Yeah.
Let's be PC.
Yeah. So but yeah, without a doubt, Punch-Out was one of my favorite games as a kid. I never beat it.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
But the game is all about pattern recognition. Once you figure out what's happening and what they're going to do next, you have to lose quite a few times before you get the patterns.
Yeah,
you have to. You can't just start a fight with somebody new and then expect to know their patterns.
I was able to take very good control over Super Punch-Out simply by this is when I had the emulator on my computer. I was able to freeze frames, know what was going to happen next. And that's why I'm able to just breeze through Super Punch-Out so quick.
You can do speed runs and
shit. I enjoy it. I enjoy Super Punch-Out just because I was able to take it to another level with that. But
I mean, we can note this too. I mean, Super Nintendo really upped the ante in every sense.
Oh yeah,
and I really love Super Nintendo for doing that because Nintendo for a time was like, oh, this is so great, this is good, and they worked with the limitations they had at the time. But Super Nintendo was just such a higher level. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Super Punch-Out is like... It looks like you're fighting with cartoon characters,
Exactly. Then the next one we have on the dock is Ninja Gaiden. Now, Ninja Gaiden myself, I was able to get to the very last boss, and traversing this platform game with respawning characters work. And to those that don't know, respawning characters means like if I leave the screen that I just came from, the character is going to keep repeating, even despite the fact that I killed him. And this game was very, very difficult. It's
unforgiving.
It will test you. You will actually become better at platform games.
Oh, without a doubt.
But, you'll leave, every time you play it, you'll leave a little piece of yourself with it. Because it tugs at you emotionally. And I might be stretching the truth a little bit, but play Ninja Gaiden. Come back and see me. Yeah. And then we'll talk.
It's another one of those things where when I was young, I just wasn't into hardcore gaming yet.
Yeah.
So when I played it and realized this shit is impossible, I never took the time to complete it. But then as I got older, I went back and I was like, I'm going to play this shit. And it's hard, but if you focus and you get it, if you learn the patterns, but there are some unfair patterns in the game. Yeah. But when you learn them, it's a little bit easier on you. And then, like I always mention the newer Ninja Gaidens, Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden Sigma. 2. Oh my god. I've never experienced such difficult gameplay.
Do you recommend that I actually get to play them?
Play them, and be fucking outraged. Because it's just like the original Ninja Gaidens. It's unfairly difficult, but it's your fault you lost.
Oh yeah, so you'll pay for the mistakes because you were overzealous with your attacks, or
you better block and dodge, and then if you think you saw an opening, you should have took it because they're going to kill you now. Yeah. Like everything matters in that game. Dang. So, and that was on normal difficulty. So I played on normal difficulty, and it was like, I can't believe there was a section. I forgot which game it was, but there's a section in the game where you literally have to run on water and tap X. Yeah. So if you stop tapping X, you sink underwater and you get eaten by fish. So you have to tap X and run on water and still fight. So you still have to do your combos while running on water. So you might jump in the air and do an air combo on something. Yeah. Then you have to land perfectly on the water and tap X at a very specific way. It was madness. Fuck that game.
The Ninja Gaiden 2, any of the Ninja Gaidens, whether it's Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, or 3. Those are games I definitely do recommend to people that need a challenge. They will put hair on your chest, man or woman. The next game that we have, TMNT 2, the arcade game. Okay. This game on the arcade was very impressive to see.
Oh God, yes.
Translate it to the Nintendo. You take a whole lot out. I was going to say a little. You take a whole lot out, but it's still, you still get the whole beat 'em up action.
You get the beat 'em up action, but you just don't get that's once again another game that felt like you were playing the cartoon. Oh my god, this looks fantastic.
8-bit sound of the theme song. April's in all the recurring characters. Enjoyable to play. It's just
super fun.
It's just very difficult. It's like the Foot Clan does not hold out at all. There's no difficulty.
They just have an endless supply of Foot Clan members.
There's no letting up, and you can't select the difficulty at all. No. The one thing to mention too is that Ultra Games made TMNT 2, the arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 for those that are uninitiated. Ultra Games made it, but Ultra Games was actually a side name for Konami. Basically, they're sub-affiliate. So, but
that
because
makes sense now.
because Nintendo said, well, Konami, you can only have a set amount of games a year. Okay, what? we'll just make another developing company
and then start a new contract with that.
Exactly.
Fucking smart.
Yeah, so that's why you see a bunch of Ultra games that are still cool to play because they're Konami.
Konami.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Enlightening me, I didn't know.
It's fun to play the game, and it's fun to play any iteration. Besides, the first one isn't my thing. I was introduced to beating foot soldiers up, so I stick with TMNT 2.
Right.
And I also stick with Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time is...
Oh my goodness. Does that game become... Well, both TMNT 2 and Turtles in Time. Those games stay on my shelf to play.
Stay on your shelf?
Well, amongst these other games, but they often get pulled out more than the others.
You don't play them. You just pull them out to look at them and go, man, that's a great game.
At one point, I had 3 TMNT 2s and just waited.
Oh my god!
We waited for the prices to go up, and they've been up, man. I remember the price raised up for Turtles in Time. It was, I think it's like $50 now versus like 2 years ago it was like $25-$30.
See,
like the bubble guys, keep your retro games. I'm telling you, or just give them to Game Swappers. What other games do I have here? Let me see. This next part of the segment I have is what games I feel aren't worth another playthrough if you're getting into the retro game scene for the first time.
Okay.
These are games that I'm going to tell people, well, hey, I want to play the Nintendo. Whoa. I'm like, oh, dude, you're only 15, man. You were like -8 when this came out. I don't recommend you getting into this. You're going to have a bad time.
You're going to hate this.
Yes. Okay, so check this out. The one game, and I'm only going to recommend one game for people not to play. Because all the other ones are still kind of entertaining to play, and it'll be fun to see someone try to go through Ninja Gaiden and say, get all pissed off. The first Legend of Zelda is a game that I cannot recommend anyone to play.
It does not help you.
Yeah, and the reason why is this. You're not going to find it complete in box.
No.
Meaning, you're not going to have instructions with it. You're going to get it loose. Like everyone else that gets retro games now, unless they're like, oh, I like everything complete in box. So to my point is that you're going to have a new game, a new file, and you're going to be like, well, what the hell do I do?
Right.
I do not know what to do.
And you are going to be lost.
Yes.
Because you're going to fucking walk around and get your ass kicked.
Yeah, unless you want to, cheat yourself, unless you want to play yourself and then go on YouTube and see a walkthrough. But, I mean, it's up to you.
You've already taken the experience of the game out.
That's not you playing it. You're just repeating the same motion someone else did.
Right.
But
definitely not The Legend of Zelda. Hell no. And it's not really fun to me.
I went back to play it, and I've got through, I think, like 6 or 7 of the... I had about, 5 or 6 of the dungeons completed. Mm-hmm. They were hard, difficult. It's just... You have to adapt yourself to coming back from the 16-bit era, the 64. You have to acclimate yourself accordingly. Mm-hmm. I think you have to do it progressively. Like, you have to start with the PS3, you have to go to the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. You have to slowly take these steps.
And then
go all the way back and be like, oh, okay, this is familiar now.
Right. Instead of jumping immediately to NES and go, what the hell? What are these blocks?
So I played it on the remastered version, which is available... the Legend of Zelda promotional disc has Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Zelda 1 and 2. Ooh. All in one disc. $45 still, hopefully. So it's still, realistically, it's $10 a game on the GameCube. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend everyone buying those other games separately.
Right.
Buy them combined because you're going to be going over another $60.
Right.
Long story short, basically, I was able to play it on the Wii, and you still have to use the directional buttons. And trying to use the analog on those things, the game's only going to recognize 4 directions.
Right.
There
is no diagonal.
Yeah.
Diagonal was not the most useful. It wasn't exactly... game design wasn't developed with diagonal movements in mind. So
yes.
It was a lot simpler back then. Times were simpler, so don't... some kid, like you said, with Call of Duty experience trying to come back to the NES games.
They're going to be spending a lot more money than they anticipate because a Sega... No, not even a Sega. I won't even get into that. A Sega costs $45 complete.
Right.
Nintendo, I think about $50 to $70, and then I know SNES costs about $70 to $80. These complete consoles are getting crazy. So you're in $80 for the retro experience, and then you buy Legend of Zelda, which is $20. Yeah,
and then you hate it.
Exactly, and then you trade it all back in. You get like
third of what you paid for, and there you go,
right back to where you started from. Anyway. So one more thing too is I want to mention if you're going to be playing the Nintendo once again or the first time, this is actually for the first timer. Sorry, don't buy don't be duped into any of the Hollywood movie games. Don't
Oh
do Bill
my
and
God.
Ted's Adventures. Don't do any of the Back to the Future games. Jaws.
No.
Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde.
God.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Don't do any of them. Anything by LJN, you don't
No
do.
LJN. Run. Run
And-
far
and-
away
yes.
from them. See that little rainbow? Fucking break it.
Get out now. Get the hell out. Speaking of get the hell out, when we come back from commercial break, we'll have the Arnold Marathon, where we're actually going to be talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. We're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. We're going to be talking about Terminator 2's 25th anniversary. What can we take out of the greatest sequel of all time? How about we do Check the Rhyme from A Tribe Called Quest here on The Mark and Andre Show.
Check the rhyme. Back in the days on the boulevard I landed. We used to kick routines and the presence was